Hey, what's going on, everyone? Leo here with the Cohen Group Northwest, and I wanted to create a series here specifically about negotiation and 3 different tactics that I've seen to be successful in really any market, but specifically a market like we're in right now where there's more opportunity for buyers to negotiate. So, there's a lot of different variables that play into how you want to approach it, but this is just kind of getting into the mindset on how to feel out a situation, feel out a seller, be better get an understanding on what's important to them, and you can really play into that to structure the best offer that will give you an opportunity to negotiate, but then also to get a good deal. So the first route, and this is my highest recommendation, is to just set up a lot of due diligence. Give them, write an offer close to asking price or at asking price, but then utilize an inspection to do the actual due diligence, do the work. It's worth it, because on an inspection, enough could come back where if you go and get bids and you do the additional work, you can actually get an idea of what that credit needs to be, and it's justified by a third party. So it's the most fair to the seller, to be honest, but then at the same time, you have a good idea of what it's going to cost, how long it's going to take, who's going to do it. All of these things are kind of set up. So it's in that due diligence period where you're not out the money, you're not already owning the home, but you have the ability to get a really good idea, a really clear picture through a longer feasibility period or inspection period. So that's number one. Utilize the inspection, use the bids to determine what credits to ask for, and then look back at yourself and your situation and what you really need. Do you need a credit towards closing cost? Do you need a price reduction? Many cases, a price reduction doesn't get you the same financial impact every single month that a rate buy down would be, or keeping cash on hand through retaining closing costs or having the seller pay for closing costs. So there's lots of different routes. It doesn't have to just be one of those. It can be spread across multiple different facets, but that's probably the best way to do it because you're justifying it with bids from a third-party professional. Awesome. Now there's a hybrid method where you're kind of in the middle. You are utilizing inspection, but maybe you came in a little bit lower. The seller's probably gonna have a little bit less bandwidth for negotiation on that inspection, but still worth it to give it a shot. The problem is if you can't get in the door, you can't negotiate. So part of getting the negotiation going is getting in the door, and that's why I recommend that first route, which is not coming in so low that you end up pissing the seller off and not really getting any headway, or even being able to start a conversation. So the hybrid model is okay. The other route is if you're going to really go for it and just say, hey, we're going to come in at this number, do your research, provide numbers with that, run comparable sales, get that data there so you can provide that with your offer, but then ultimately remove contingencies. Like if you come in lower, maybe you're cash, or maybe you're waiving inspection, or maybe you're doing additional down, or you're waiving appraisal, making things really aggressive so you can get a better deal without having to go through all that. So there's these 3 different sectors that I would call them, routes on negotiation, and what it really comes down to is hiring a good professional that understands how to feel that out with the seller. Call the other agent, find out what's important to the seller, what's their situation, when do they need to move, why hasn't it sold, what are all those things. Build that relationship so they understand that you're coming from a place of, look, I just want to know what's going on, and I want to help get my client in that house if that's what they want, but ultimately I want to get a better idea of the best route that's most convenient for the seller, but also that gives my buyer an opportunity to negotiate. So these are all some tools. It's fairly simple, but the key is really understanding how to feel out a seller and really understand what's important to them. Once you get that, you'll know which route to go. And also, it's just really important to hire a professional that knows what they're doing. There's lots of good brokers, but obviously we've had a lot of success with these different negotiation tactics. If you'd like more information on tactics, mindset, approaches to this new market and how we're helping buyers get good deals or be able to negotiate, please reach out, 360-820-3434. You can also utilize any of these YouTube channels. We've got Dispatches from the Front, which talks a lot about what's going on today in today's market. Our weekly market update, which is just numbers. What's the push and pull of the economy right now, the housing market, so you can better understand why certain things are happening. And then ultimately, for all this stuff in bite-sized form, go to our Instagram, Cohen Group NW on Instagram, and follow us for more videos like this, more bite-sized content on the real estate market. Thanks for joining us.